Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom, your business journey with Clarita, the podcast where we will discuss valuable insights, resources, and motivation to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Let's build a supportive community together. Subscribe now to Begin, Build, Blossom, and let's embark on your business journey. In this episode, we will be talking about Seamoss. And you may ask, what is Seamoss? Seamoss is a type of seaweed that grows in water. In this episode, we will specifically be speaking about growing Seamoss in St. Lucia, which is one of the Caribbean islands. Seamoss is edible. It comes in various colors, including green, yellow, purple, red. And we will be talking about different aspects such as the health benefits of Seamoss. And we need you to know that this is based on personal experience and from stories of others who have used Seamoss. This is not based on research, so please be aware of that. In this episode, we are sharing our opinion. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have about Seamoss. Please enjoy. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. Have you ever wondered what it's like to run a Seamoss business? Well, we have with us Thaddeus Simeon, who's a Seamoss farmer in the beautiful village of Laborie, St. Lucia. He, in the past, has worked as a fisherman, and he has also had his own shoe repair business, which he continues to do alongside his Seamoss farming business. He is the father of two, me included. This is my dad. I am very happy to introduce you to him. And he is grandfather to four grandkids. Three lives in Australia and one in New York. And I will say that my daughter, he's one of his granddaughters, love to talk about her granddad Bram. So we'll be referring to him as Bram, which is how he is affectionately known in the village of Laborie. Welcome, Bram. How are you doing?
Good.
All right. I know today is your holiday,
Yes.
so thanks for joining us on such a prestigious day for you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Great. And we are going to get started with a section we call rapid fire. What we will do is ask you a few questions to get to know you a little better. We'll try to get some quick responses. But if you feel like you need to answer a little longer, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with one word that describes you now as an adult compared to one word you would use to describe yourself when you were a child.
As a child, I used to, troublesome and been playing games a lot. Now, as childhood growing, you have to change your life completely to live in a positive way. Leave the negative behind and to hold the positive. And this is why I'll get myself the way I am right now.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about your business. What do you do in business?
Well, in business, before I started my first business, it was mending shoes, repair shoe. After then came my brother start being planting Seamoss, and I get the passion of the way the Seamoss used to grow. The way I see it, it used to be so nice and so healthy. So I had passion, and I told him that's the only thing I don't mind being into. So after he left 2005, he left it behind for me. But it happens when he left, it wasn't much, and I changed it completely because the CMOS he left behind, when within from November to January, people couldn't believe, because it was a little thin, like, and when I passed in between the ropes, he had left behind. There was a few bits and pieces. Now it was a little bit more because the CMOS it's like it's supposed to be floating,
Mm-hmm.
like it can see the sunlight. But that one was those in the few pieces or bits and pieces within the rope he had. There was a little bit lower down, not right down to the surface, but it was a little bit down, so it transformed the Seamoss, so it gets a little bit bigger. So I take those pattern, and this is what I work on. And people couldn't believe it. Even my brother, when he came 2006, he tell me that's not the Seamoss he used to plant. I tell him that's the same Seamoss.
Oh, wow. So you took what you got and really grew on that.
Yeah, transform, yeah, and right now I've been into it, and being I am into it, I know the importance of CMOS, what it's worth for people, the value, because I've been into it as a young child, a young man growing maybe in my 16, 17. I used to dive a lot of CMOS, give people. There is different type of CMOS, and there is a CMOS. It's very flat on the seabed, on the reef, and it takes a lot of time to clean, sometimes a whole day. I have to clean a little bit, and I will share it to different friends. Sometimes I cook the CMOS and I will share it to friends, and they will tell me when they drink it, oh, they feeling they can lift up a whole house, a whole truck.
So you're definitely touching a lot on the importance and the benefits of CMOS. So I hope we get to talk about that a little bit more. And to finish up this section, can you tell me one of the things that you love doing when you're not working?
Well, when I'm not working, I love being wrong, like playing a little combination, to keep my body going, and strong and healthy, the sweating.
When you say combination, you mean football, right? Which some people call soccer.
Soccer, yeah.
Yes, I love seeing you and your friends play soccer. So let's talk a little bit about beginning in business. Can you tell us maybe some more about if you always wanted to work for yourself?
Yeah, this was always my idea, working for myself, because I have worked for companies, and the treatment, the way I get the treating, to me they're not true. So this is why I decided, being working for myself, it will be much better. I can work. If I say today I want to work for the whole day,
Hmm.
a long hour. If I say today I want to work 1 hour or 2 hours,
Hmm.
or if I say, well, today I'm not working, I will relax. And to me, that's the best part of it.
So you have control over your schedule, and
Of my, yeah, of myself, of my working process, and yeah.
it's good. And I know you had mentioned about your grandfather. Was it your father or your grandfather?
My grandfather, even my daddy too, my granddaddy and my daddy, all of them was business. But it happens, my granddaddy, he was there was a ship that used to move from St. Lucia to Barbados,
Hmm.
and they say that was his ship, because mostly all the goods that was belongs to him, because he would have coal. At that time, it was they didn't have much like stove. It was coal, wood,
Hmm.
food, all different kinds of food. And when that boat was leaving St. Lucia,
Hmm.
mostly everything on board that boat was had belongs to him. So he was a businessman, so it I think the business comes in, yeah, so the business, right, comes from the beginning, from, I'll say, from our ancestors.
Okay. And yes, I'm glad we're having this conversation as daddy and daughter, because some of those things I'm learning for the first time. I didn't know about your dad.
Yeah, even my daddy was he was a fisherman, and he had his own boat, so he was a businessman.
Yeah. And I know you also used to be a fisherman.
Yeah, fisherman, yeah, and my brothers, all of them are working for themselves.
And I think that's one of the things I really admire. Sometimes we don't think about that, but looking around me, a lot of the
Hmm.
people I know, a lot of our family actually have their own businesses. Either they're fishermen or shop owners or doing some form of business.
Business, yeah.
That's great. And I know you mentioned one of the things about working for yourself is being able to control your own schedule. So, what else do you love about being a Seamoss farmer?
Well, I love the ocean and I love nature. And to me, being in the sea, it's like natural, you know.
Hmm.
And being a CMOS farmer, the CMOS is something you don't have no chemical to put in it. It's something natural, even though it takes time to work the working process and everything. But at the it gives me a passion, you know, to be in the sea, to be in the water, you know, and taking the sunlight. The sun, the bright sun is shining and the water. So it gives me a passion to be in it, you know.
Oh, I wish everybody could talk about their work like you do because it sounds like you really enjoy it. And I've seen you work, and I know that you do.
Sometimes, you know, I will be working and singing my own song, you know, and being free, my mind and everything loose, you know, and being free, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And you talk
Yeah.
about your working process. Tell us a little bit more about that process from actually like growing the CMOS to harvesting and actually preparing it for people to use.
Well, growing it, you know, well, as I tell you, it's a little bit difficult, but at the end of the day, it gives me a joy and a passion. And the most important thing about it, doing it, you know, like the gel, working the gel. Now, some people will say they boil the CMOS. Now, there is a CMOS, that's the real McCoy CMOS, the one growing on the reef, the flat. It's very, very quality and it's very thick. Now, it will take a long time to dissolve. Now, this CMOS, that's the one I used to know before, and that's the I we used to boil it, and it takes a long time to boil and to dissolve to get it melt. Now, if I say when you boil the CMOS, sometimes you move some of the thing getting out of it, some of the nutrients. Now, to work it out, you will boil your ingredients like nutmeg, cinnamon, and all those stuff, and you pour the boiled water. Now, before you will wash the CMOS because it's salty. You move the salt, you take a piece to it to see if it have salt, then no salt, then you put it in your pan and you boil your ingredients and you pour the boiled water on it
Mhm.
and you let it settle. When it get cold, either you blend it or you will take a strainer and a spoon and you mash it up, then you will find a fig gel. Now that fig gel, if you want to drink it just as it is,
Mhm.
like a porridge, it's even better. Now some people like smoothie, so you'll do a smoothie. You'll add more water, your milk, or your mango, your pawpaw, your fruits, because you can blend it with any fruit. And to me, it's like when you build it, if it's already a meal, but when you blend it with a fruit, it's even extra a meal.
Mm.
So you can have it a CMOS like a meal, you know, because sometimes I drink a CMOS in the morning, and sometimes I can stay all the night before I take another something, you know. Yeah, and I even hear people saying the same thing, you know. Sometimes they say they drink a CMOS, and I don't. My belly full. I can spend the whole night, and I'm just good. So this is why I get into that, you know, CMOS thing.
And in addition to eating or drinking the CMOS, what other ways do people use CMOS?
Well, it has so many things to do with that CMOS. People using it as the pills, tablets. They're doing tablets with it. They're doing cream. They're doing I think soap. They say even soap. They're doing to wash your hair, you know, and all them stuff. And CMOS, it's one of the richest food or richest, they can process a lot of things out of the CMOS, you know. They can get a lot of different things and a lot, yeah.
So I know you mentioned the benefits being basically it's very filling, and it sounds like it's just so nutritious that you can just use it for every part of your body at this point.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I met some Europeans, and the way they told me they're using it in the salad and in the sauce.
because I can see it can thicken sauces.
Yeah, yeah, it can thicken the sauce. I like it in cocoa tea. When I do a cocoa tea, I'll put some Seamoss, and that will be one.
But
Oh,
is the maybe you can tell us a little bit about the flavor? If you're going to integrate it in so many other foods, do you think like the flavor is so strong that it will overpower the other foods or no?
no, no, no. It depends. It depends on the amount, because if you're doing the flavor, so you can put it's the amount
Mm,
of Seamoss. It depends what are you doing. So the flavor cannot be. So you have to balance everything.
okay. And what makes your CMOS the best CMOS in the whole world?
Well, maybe the way I'm doing it, everybody, say, well, oh, I'm doing the Seamoss very good. And the way I doing it, I think it's, you know, different people, different process their things different ways. So the way I process my Seamoss and the way I do it, it inspire people.
But when you talk about growing the CMOS, I know we talked about processing it after it's been done, after the harvesting. I know you put ropes, you lay ropes in the water, you watch it grow, you dry it.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, the Seamoss, you plant it on rope, you stretch your rope. Now they have two different type of Seamoss. One, you will that's the hybrid. The hybrid, it's one man modify that Seamoss, and it grows very fast. You know. Now growing it, you will stretch your rope, and you will take another little piece of rope, and you tie it in the rope, and it will be hanging all the way to the rope. Now the other one, that's the local Seamoss, the one Philip left behind, and it's quality. Now that one, it's more hardworking. The rope, it's twist in free, so you have to make it pass in between the rope from the beginning to the
Almost like
end.
you plaiting it in.
Yeah, you platen it in between the rope, and it grows. And but the thing is that Seamoss, it need a lot of cleaning. It don't like to be dirty. If it's dirty, the rope dirty or the Seamoss, it won't grow properly.
Mm.
So you have to be behind it to clean it all the time.
So you're cleaning it while it's growing underwater.
Whilst it's growing, and I've got a passion to do that.
I know that for sure. And when you after so how long would you say it takes to grow?
The hybrid, what man modified, takes 3 weeks to a month. Let's say 3 weeks, directly 3 weeks. But the local one, it takes 2 months.
That's a big difference. And after you harvest it, you lay it out to dry.
Yeah, I put it to dry. Now, before, we used to put it in a clear plastic bag and put it in the sun. We say we bleached it. It will get white, and after we'll put it in the sun to get dry. And when it get dry, it will get dry yellow.
All right. So let's move on to another section we call the building section.
Hmm.
So who do you usually sell your CMOS to?
Well, local people, but now, right now, I have a market from Florida. I sell, yeah, in I move. Yeah,
So you've now built your business so much that you're not only serving local customers, but you're also serving people internationally.
yeah.
And how did you connect with that international customer that you have?
The person told me, well, he saw Philip art.
Philip being your brother that left the
My brother, yeah, because he was in the business before.
right.
And the person saw the art, and then she informed the prime minister in St. Lucia,
Mm.
and they sent her to fisheries, and fisheries contact me, and this is how we get contact.
Oh, so she actually went through official channels.
Official, yeah,
She heard about it and decided she needed to get in touch with that person. So reached out to the
yeah,
department she knows would have that information and was able to connect with you.
with me, yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. I hope you get some more international customers. And who do you work with? Do you do all this by yourself?
Yes, I all by myself, yeah.
Have you ever thought about having others join you in the business to help you?
Well, the thing is that yes, it is true, because it's the difficulty I have right now, because I would like people to work with me in the business, because all now, so I could have maybe 5, 6 people. But the difficulty is from the time that boat sank, they left things behind, and and that oil always destroying my Seamoss.
Mm, okay. So that takes us to one of the challenges, I'm guessing, of having a CMOS business. Because I know CMOS is a crop like any other, and it's impacted by weather changes and disasters, with the sea, one of the disasters being oil spills. So tell us a little bit more about that oil spill and how, when you say it impacts your CMOS, tell us,
Mhm.
how does that happen?
The thing is that when the oil it's among the Seamoss and the water is warm, it will just bleach it. Lots of them just white. You'll just see it come white. Part of the Seamoss, you know.
So that's an indication to you that something has gone wrong.
Yeah, something, and it's yeah.
And what do you do when that happens?
What I do is just break the bad part, just move it, just throw it, and it's only the fish will enjoy it.
But you have to make sure you pick out the good ones. So how do you make sure that you keep up the quality?
Well, to keep up the quality as right now, it's like some people the bleaching, but when you bleach it, you already move some nutrients. Now, when you don't bleach it, the quality will stay as it is.
Hmm.
So you'll get it purple or the green CMOS, you know. So this is why you get the quality when you don't bleach it.
Mm, okay. So someone did a documentary of you, and I saw how they documented your process, the way
Hmm.
that you actually clean that CMOS. I see that you spend a lot of time picking out the good from the bad. You make sure you dry it, you wash it really well,
Yeah, yeah,
make sure it's dried properly, and even after it's dried, you do a lot of the sorting out to make sure you only
yeah. Move the salt.
right,
Yeah,
and to make sure you only keep the good CMOS. So I know that's one of the your quality control. So let's go to the section we call the blossom section. And that's where we try to, blossoming. You're in business and you feel like you're doing well. So let's talk a little bit about that. Do you think that you are doing well as a CMOS farmer?
well, the thing is that I won't say I'm doing. I should be doing well, but the as I tell you, the only problem right now it's that put me behind. It's the oil spill because oil. If they didn't have that oil, maybe I would have 8, 10 people. Maybe I could have been a millionaire right now.
I believe you.
Yeah. So yet still, I say, well, I know what it is, and I know it's not about money.
Hmm.
It's about the health of people, what it is, what the value. And this is the passion I have. It's for the people to be healthy, to be strong,
Hmm.
you know, and to get something, a food that can keep them, you know, 100 years, to live 100 years, century.
Hmm. And we all want that fountain of youth.
Yeah,
So, what does it mean when you hear being successful? What does that mean to you?
being successful, it's hardworking.
Hmm.
To be successful, you have to put the passion behind your hard working and to see you with people and you there all the time. It's not been there for a while and after a while you will say, all right, that's enough. No, to be successful, you have to be in it and to be with people. And to me, that's the most important thing.
Okay. And I will add here, you're the happiest man I know.
Well, this is what people say.
A lot of people who've met you say that. I remember recently I spoke with someone who said that when he sees the way you live, it's like that's what people work towards getting. It's not about the material stuff, but just about the happiness in self.
Happiness. Yeah,
Right. You've shown me what that means my entire life.
yeah,
And I really value that because I'm not someone who really likes material stuff. I love being around people. I enjoy being in community. And I think I learned a lot of that from you. So I really appreciate that. And I also learned the business side. So we'll see where that takes me. But for now, I will say that I am just happy, just being here, just like you are.
yes.
And As we come to an end,
Yeah.
I would just like to ask you, what are three of the most important things that you think a new Seamoss farmer would need to get started in the business?
The thing is that first you need a cash. I'll say let's say $5,000 to start to buy the ropes. You need anchors, so you need to buy cement and to make some big blocks or whatever to anchor. So you need a start, and to move on,
Okay.
and that's and
When you say anchors, you mean like to keep the flotation?
yeah, all the ropes you need to settle it, from end to end, so it can stay there stationary.
Ah, okay, okay. And I know you put some kind of bottles to
Yeah,
like,
bottles, yeah, to keep it floating, because those CMOS it needs sunlight.
yeah, okay, so that's why they grow underwater.
Yeah.
So we'll say they need at least some startup money to get those things. Yeah, and in terms of getting the actual crop, the actual CMOS.
Well, the CMOS was distributed from fisheries because being Hurricane Allen, it destroyed our reef and the CMOS. Now those CMOS, being CMOS is so important and so valuable for people, so they distribute those CMOS for St. Lucians.
Mm,
Now there were the one my brother is left behind. It's more local and it comes from Bailey's, and he was the only one that take that CMOS into consideration because it's more hardworking and it's more quality. And what happened again? It's can sustain hurricane or storm. Now the hybrid is something they modify. It will take just 3 weeks and you're in business, but it's big. You'll get big branches and it's so fragile. Any little swell, it will just break out and you lose mostly everything. And this is why people now been working the hybrid. You need like a pool. If you've got a water where it's not having waves,
mhm.
oh, you'll make a lot of CMOS.
It's more like like a lake, like without
A lake, yeah, a pool, a pond.
something with less waves. I see.
Now, but the local, it need the waves. The wave will make them grow faster
Mm,
with the local, the one from Philip Ave.
okay.
The more active the sea is active, the faster it will grow and the better.
Okay. All right. So I guess somebody getting started needs to have some kind of startup money, and they also need to be able to source the crop. And is there any other advice you would give them?
The advice I'll give them, well, it's a hard-working process, and if you have to get into it, it's just that you have to put your passion and say, well, all right, this is what I have to get into, and this is what I want to do for my life. So it's all you have to do. It's anything you do, put your passion
Hmm.
and put your life into it and be happy.
Be happy. We can't forget that part. Do it with love.
Love, yeah, with love and happiness.
Right. And one of the things we're trying to do with this podcast is to connect people like yourself, amazing guests like yourself, with people who are listening. And I wanted to know, are you open to maybe giving up like 30 minutes of your time to talk to someone who wants to learn about CMOS or the business?
It's my pleasure.
Okay. All right. So can you tell us how we can find you, how we can get in touch with you?
Well, my number is 733-3520. Now, when they calling me, they can't call me in the night time, mostly in the night, but during the day, I always on the sea.
Hmm.
So early in the morning, maybe 6, 5, they can even wake me up in my bed
Okay.
and I will be happy, to have and the passion to spend a time with them, evening time and the morning.
All right. So I'm going to add for persons calling internationally, they should first dial 1758 733 3520.
Right on.
You're someone that you have interesting conversations, and I am just so happy that I had the opportunity to speak with you today on the podcast. I'm very proud daughter of this Seamoss
Hmm.
farmer.
Yes.
And I know Sierra and your other grandkids will enjoy seeing this and listening to you. And I will also make sure to link the documentary that was made so that people can, see what we've been talking about this entire time. Yeah, I know some people who've watched that video like at least, well, more than twice, including me. I've even watched it with Sierra, just showing her what her granddad is doing. And she says, Brum, Brum, I want to go to St. Lucia to meet Brum. Yes. So I know we've reached the end, but I wanted to ask you about the Doré. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about the role your Doré plays.
The dory, it's like a raft. So right now, that dory, everybody saying, "Oh, I love your boat. I love your boat." But it's not a boat. It's just a raft. Yeah, and everybody likes it. They like to take a ride on board it, and they like to see it on the water. Even sailing, I do a little bit of sailing once in a while.
Looks like you have another business there. You should have some kind of tourist attraction, huh? Where you take people for rides on the Doré.
Yes, it is true. Yeah, because sometimes I even do a little with it. I'll take some of the tourists, some people, they want to see the Seamoss, they want to see how I'm planting it, and I will take them on my dory to take them on my farm, and sometimes I'll get a little tip from them.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know you did that. So you take them from the shore of the sea to the area that's
Yeah, to my where I'm planting my Seamoss. Yeah, I'll show them, and yeah.
yeah, that's a good experience. I'm glad that you do that. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us.
Well, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
All right. Okay, well, have a good one.
You too.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey, a CME Accounting LLC podcast. Please subscribe and be on the lookout for our next episode. If you'd like to share any feedback with us, please email us at podcast@cmeaccountingllc.com.